A quick guide to Shadow Priest for 5.4. First off, stat priority is int-spirit until cap, haste-crit, and then mastery. Haste does have certain breakpoints where you get extra ticks off your dots, but even after these breakpoints, it's still your best stat. Treat crit and mastery as if they're the same thing unless you have the Unerring vision of Shen trinket. Then mastery is better than crit. As for talents, they change very often depending on the fight. For the best single target, low movement fight, take Insanity, Twist of Fate, and Halo. For add heavy fights, take Insanity, Twist of Fate, and Halo. For multi-dot fights, take Insanity, Divine Insight, and Halo. Alternatively, you can take From Darkness Comes Light in place of Insanity because it does scale quite well with more targets you dot up, but Insanity is such a strong burst talent that it's rarely ever worth speccing out of, and it's the king for almost any fight. Now, for very movement-heavy fights where you know for a fact that you can't use the full benefits of Insanity, take From Darkness Comes Light, Divine Insight, and Cascade. Shadow Priests have absolutely terrible movement DPS, and hoping for random instant cast procs is really the only thing you can do on the move, besides spamming Shadow Word Pain for that small upfront damage it does. For glyphs, use Glyph of Mind Flay, will allow you to move out of stuff faster and thus get back to standing still to DPS. Glyph of Vampiric Embrace will allow you to do healing in a more bursty fashion, and is an HPS increase over using it not glyphed. Glyph of Inner Sanctum and Glyph of Fade will allow you to mitigate a little more damage, and depending on who you're asking, is a must-have for raiding. And Glyph of Weakened Soul will allow you to use Body and Soul more often if you took that talent, which you can, but Angelic Feather is way better for mobility. Minor glyphs, you can just take whatever you want. Now, on for the rotation. For opening up, you want to use Mind Blast, Halo, Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, and then Shadow Fiend. After the opening, you don't really have a set rotation, but a set of priorities to follow. Priority number 1 is to use Devouring Plague at 3 stacks of Shadow Orbs. Then, if you took Insanity, ignore everything else and cast Mind Flay. Do not refresh your dots during Insanity. It's okay to let them fall off, although you should plan ahead so that they don't. Also, make sure to recast Mind Flay one last time before Devouring Plague falls off, because the Insanity buff will continue through the channeled Mind Flay. So if Devouring Plague has like half a second left on it when you cast your Mind Flay, it'll still be an Insanity Mind Flay doing double damage, even though Devouring Plague is gone. Second, Mind Blast on cooldown. Mind Blast is a must priority over Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch because of how much DPS Devouring Plague and Insanity does. Third, Shadow Word Death 2 times in a row. It used to be that you only needed to use the first one that gave you a Shadow Orb, but in the recent patch they buffed it so its damage is pretty good and you can go ahead and use both of them back to back again. Next, keep Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch up. Shadow Word Pain is more important because it procs apparitions, while Vampiric Touch only procs them with a certain set bonus. Lastly, use Halo or Cascade, depending on which one you took. Then Mind Flay when you have nothing else to do. If there are 2 to 4 targets, dot them all up. If your dots will last their full duration, you want to go ahead and use them as much as possible. As a rule of thumb, if there's an add up and it's not going to die in the next 15 seconds, it should have 2 dots on it. Also, you need to use Vampiric Touch. You cannot just dot up everything with Shadow Word Pain. You will go and a priest with no mana does no DPS. But at the same time, you still want to use Mind Blast off cooldown and Devouring Plague with Insanity when the time comes. If you're just AoEing down adds, then just use Mind Seer in the tank or DPS in the middle of the pack, so you don't have to keep retargeting adds and lose DPS.